Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fortress of Comic News, episode 248. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside Ahoy's number one fanboy, Mike.
Hey, sometimes you just find a comic book publisher and you just gotta hump their leg uncontrollably for the last few weeks. You didn't like that analogy? All right.
No, I'm down with that analogy. I'm a big fan of leg humping.
You just got a peeping Tom through their office windows. But everybody's working from home, so that makes it even more creepier. Chris is talking about the ordeal over the week of I've been getting a lot of my Ahoy books delivered to me, so like some of those I still buy physically. Because up to a certain point, a lot of them weren't being uploaded same day digitally, and I like to support them. I think they're doing cool stuff. But I had tweeted at Tom Pear, and I was like, "How do I get a T-shirt?" And they're like, "Oh, we have them on Amazon." And I don't know if this is true or not. I don't know if those T-shirts already existed or they made a link with T-shirts just for me. But I like to think.
I like to think they made it just for you, yeah. Okay. Tom was like, fuck, like Mike needs a shirt, and he made all those shirts just for you.
Yep. So I bought a shirt, actually $15 on Amazon. I mean, it came here in like a few days. They have Wrong Earth, they have Edgar Allan's Sifter of Fear, they have all those shirts, so check them out.
It's a deal, twice the price. The only one that's a little awkward is I saw they had Second Coming shirts, and it would cause too much confusion in my life to wear a shirt that just said Second Coming in giant letters.
Yeah. I mean, the words are a little awkward, but also the fact that like some of them rep Jesus and you might send mixed opinions to people about stuff.
It would cause conversations I'm not willing or ready to have with people.
I wouldn't put my money against you getting hit in the face by a Jehovah's Witness, but
they already hate me because I just don't even answer the door.
Yeah. Everybody, we had some technical difficulties this week with an interview, so it's looking like there will not be an interview for this episode. Sorry about that. Usually, I know they're like, wow, the guys have been really good about announcing interviews at the front of the episodes. Well, they missed this episode. So
we don't know. We might have one. We might not.
We'll might. See. It may or may not be there. So I don't know. Flip a coin. But yeah, let's jump into the news because I want to talk about Peacemaker. To me, nothing else really happened this week except Peacemaker. So
I don't know. You'd be wrong, but okay.
Oh, okay. It looks like Scott Pilgrim's returning this time to Netflix, which is crazy because Scott Pilgrim was one of those things. That movie is amazing.
If you say so.
Okay, whatever. It did not get popular until after the fact. What do they call those? Cult
hits.
Cult hits. Yeah, cult hits. Cult classics. But like, it did terrible in the box office, and then I think it got more popular as people watched it and were like, "Oh, this is actually pretty cool." It's coming back to Netflix. Netflix has called upon Anime Studio Science (SARU) to work with series creator Brian Lee O'Malley to write, and Ben Davis Grabinski to run the show. It's going to be an anime, folks. So it'll probably work out best like that. I mean, the art style I think would fit more of an anime than normal animated series. I don't know how you feel about that, but.
So I joke. I didn't really care for the movie. It's not bad. It's just not. I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
I do think it gets a little too much praise because it wasn't as great as people say it is. But people love it, and people love that video game they put out too.
I forgot about that.
And I remember I read like the first part of the comic, and I didn't care for the comic either. So it's just all around like this is just not an IP I care about. So
yeah.
Sure, make an anime. It's not going to change my mind about anything.
But it's clearly more popular this is coming back, because I thought Scott Pilgrim was dead from ever getting any more stuff, so good for them.
I figured the video game was the last, but I would be wrong.
Now, a character that Chris cares about that nobody else cares about, Moon Knight. Marvel released a Moon Knight teaser to promote the first full trailer, and it's coming Monday during the NFL playoffs. That'd be tomorrow night. I forgot
right now as you're listening to this.
Yeah, so I forgot this was even happening. Who's playing Moon Knight again?
Oscar Isaac.
Damn.
Poe Dameron himself.
It's crazy to me that like Oscar Isaac's just gonna pop up in a trailer, and we haven't like seen any leaked photos or any set pictures or anything like that.
They did the one little quick teaser during the like Disney Plus day.
Yeah.
And then this, and it looks good. I'm sure it's gonna be amazing. It's Moon Knight's an awesome character, and if you don't like Moon Knight, you're wrong about everything in life.
Moon Knight and MODOK, the two most important Marvel characters.
No, I do think that Moon Knight will be a breakout hit for Marvel once he hits the big screen. Like, once people see him and don't just see him as... Because there's always been this, like, idea, and I'm sure this is how he was originally supposed to be, but that's no longer the case. There's still this idea that Moon Knight's just like, oh, Marvel wanted a Batman, so they made Moon Knight.
Yeah.
And it's not what the character is, at least in my lifetime. So...
Right.
I do think that people enjoy him once he's out there, especially when he's like tearing down vampires left and right and shit. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna watch it. Boba Fett episode 3. So I was not expecting a fight with I don't remember the evil Wookiee's name.
Black Crescenta.
Pretty awesome. I was not expecting Danny Trejo in this episode, especially as a Rancor trainer. I didn't know Rancors are so friendly. There's a lot of people. Well, not a lot of people. There's a lot of very vocal, annoying people complaining about the speeder bikes in the episode with like the robot kids, like the robot gang.
So, listen, okay. Just like anything in life, there's people that take things too far, and that a lot of these fans are taking it too far. But let's be real to all the people that are trying to defend that scene as if it was the coolest thing ever. It was fucking goofy that they were on Vespas.
Yeah. So
I don't hate the scene, but it was goofy that they were on Vespas.
So at this point in the episode, you know, a girlfriend and I are watching it, and at that point between like them starting the chase and then chasing this dude, and this whole scene for about over 5 minutes, I don't even care that there's Vespas. I have all these characters that I do not give a shit about, like these half cyborg punks and this mayor assistant, and I feel like the scene was way too long. This car chase scene through the streets of whatever. I just didn't care. I was like, okay, you have a Boba Fett show. That gives me a limited amount of time with my baby Boba Fett, right? You give me a set amount of time, Marvel, and I gotta watch. I don't care what color the Vespas were. That's irrelevant to me. I gotta watch this stupid chase scene on these hover bikes and hover car for like over 5 minutes of my 30-minute episode. That's all I'm complaining about.
I mean, listen, George Lucas loved that scene, but
yeah. And then people were like, well, this goes back to like Obi-Wan being in like a 50s diner in the in the new trilogies.
Anyone that knows Lucas's history, he loves 50s. He loves the 50s aesthetic to begin with. He loves cars. Like, he's a big car guy. That's why American Graffiti is actually based on his real life. And that scene at the end of that movie is actually something that happened to him where he rolled a car street racing. So, like, once again, I'm seeing homages to like Lucas and who Lucas is and all this shit. I just got I like the whole punk gang thing because obviously like, you know, I love punk rock. The girl in the gang looked like a lot of girlfriends I had growing up, but I agree with you on everything there and the fact that like why were they on fucking Vespas? Like, if you're a punk rock gang, you're not getting on Vespas. I'm sorry.
You're going to be on like a bike with spikes on it maybe and shit. I don't know. Like,
You'd be on, dude. It would be like speeder bikes that are like all black and like Harley'd out. Like
even
that's
a hoverboard. Give me a pink hoverboard from Back to the Future. Make more sense.
Yeah. That is, I actually kind of like the scene aside from that. Like, I like the whole chase and everything. It was cool and fun. And then, like, the mayor's assistant there, like, he's such a piece of shit. I hate him so much.
Yeah, he is a huge piece of shit. Yeah, piece of shit.
That all aside, that scene aside, though, like, I love the episode altogether. Like, getting the Rancor. I thought there was a couple things that, like, ended quickly for me that were weird. Like, the flashbacks seemed to be done.
Yeah.
It seems like we're over that. I didn't expect those to end so quickly. And the whole, like, Huts coming and being like, we're sorry, and now we're gonna fuck off into space. I was confused. I'm like, why did you introduce them other than to give me Black Chrysanta?
Yeah.
Why did you introduce these characters? Because it seems like they were just here to be like, look at our big dicks, and then be like, oh yeah, by the way, it's not really that big. We're gonna go this way while these people fight you. Like, that seemed weird to me. But
yeah, I don't necessarily think the past is done. I mean, there's like we have like a whole 5 years or so of story to tell there. Hopefully they're not done. I mean, they did wipe out all the Tusken Raiders, but
yeah, there will be something with like him getting revenge for the Tusken Raiders. But I thought it was weird that like they just killed like, the poor fucking Tusken Raiders in the whole Star Wars universe.
Yeah, dude,
their lot in life is to die.
Yeah, they're just literally under everybody's boots, being crushed by the man. I do think it's funny. Every episode they bring up the Pikes, that the Pikes are just fish people. Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, that looks like a humanoid Pike, so I guess that makes sense. I think overall, I mean, the best part of the episode, hands down, was Danny Trejo as a Rancor trainer. I like that whole scene. I liked Boba Fett going "Gucci Gucci Goo" to the baby Rancor.
I love the call out to the holiday special where he's like, "I want to ride it." I'm like, "Yes, you're gonna ride that fucking Rancor."
Hell, you are. Hell yeah, you are. And then Disney's like, our toy sales are gonna skyrocket.
Oh yeah, because I'm gonna buy like 20 of them. Yep. The only thing that made me mad about when Trejo shows up, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, this isn't Machete Kills Again in space.
Yeah, I know.
Why are you wasting your time with the Star Wars thing when you could be making that movie?
I know. Why is Machete Kills in space not a thing yet? Robert Rodriguez is too busy making this, and then he's going to go on to his CW Zorro show that he's doing. It's going to be awful.
Yes, and that it makes perfect sense too, because once again, when I'm watching the credits, I'm like, oh, Robert Rodriguez directed this episode. Of course he called up Danny Trejo.
Yeah, of course he did. I was more concerned the first one. He directed a couple, so and I will say, after seeing that, like the whole speeder chase and the bike scene and stuff, that just reminds me of the Grindhouse. Like that's a very Robert Rodriguez scene. And I wouldn't be surprised if like he made those changes, which like that's his little flavor on stuff. I mean, there's a reason he's a very high acclaimed director. So, but he also wanted to, I think, give that nod, like you said, to Lucas. Overall, was it my favorite episode? No.
No.
The fight scene with Black Chrysanthus was awesome.
That was badass, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting, like, dude, you're just in your sleep pod, you just get ripped out by this giant Wookiee. Yeah. That was pretty crazy.
That scene was cool, but, like, now, unless he shows back up, which I kind of hope he does show up at the end for something, because if not, it feels like a waste.
Yeah, he was like, you're free, and he even looked at him like, are you sure? And then he just kind of, like, jogs away.
So I don't know if anyone caught this on Twitter, but Kieran Gillan was actually like one of the co-creators of Black Chrysanthemum, and he put he was talking about how he's pulling out old drafts of I think it was a Darth Vader run that he did, and he literally named him New Baka in all of his original drafts.
I did see that tweet. Yeah, that was pretty funny. That's funny. I mean, this show's great. Another show that's great that came out with the first 3 episodes this week, is Peacemaker. I will say this: just let James Gunn do whatever the hell he wants from now on. Do I think this show is perfect? No, I do not. It's really good. I've watched all 3 episodes. I think you watched all 3.
Yeah.
Chris texted me this week and asked me if I was a dick vampire. I had no idea what he meant, and then I was like, oh, it clicked in my head. A James Gunn property came out this weekend, so that's most likely going to be a joke in that. It's good. The action is awesome. You know what it reminds me of, the tone? It reminds me of Ash vs. Evil Dead. Like that style.
Okay.
Like the dark, like there's serious shit going on, really dark comedy, or like Better Call Saul, where it's like, and I saw James Gunn had talked about he wanted to like channel Better Call Saul, where it's like these characters are in these really shitty, realistic situations. It's like not realistic, but very serious situations, and it's kind of like a joke in a sense, or they treat them as jokes. But I think John Cena is awesome. First impressions, John Cena is great. The Eagly is awesome. I didn't know the actress from Orange is the New Black, but I actually really like her character. I think that spoilers, she's Amanda Waller's daughter. Getting to see Viola Davis in the first episode is pretty friggin' sick. The action scenes, some of the jokes, and I've heard this from some people, they didn't really care. The jokes seem forced in some of the dialogue, some of the scenes. Other than that, though, I think they have a hit here. I think most people feel that way. I don't know how you felt about it, but I would assume the dick vampire joke had you from the start.
Yeah, so I'll say the first episode I didn't really like.
Yeah.
I thought Amanda Waller's daughter was annoying in that first episode. But she grew on me as the episodes went. Everybody grew on me as the episodes went. Like, I thought a lot of the characters were either over the top or annoying in the first episode. Peacemaker's dad, like, I thought they tried to do some things at first that were like a little edgy politically, but then like quickly took them back, and we're just like, no, he's just a Nazi. Like, we're not even gonna go to the political. He's just a Nazi.
Right, yeah.
Other than that, like, I love the humor. I thought most of the humor was good. I loved where it really connected with me was the music, because I love 80s metal.
80s metal is so good.
But when he's in the room with the butterfly, so the butterflies are these aliens that like take over people's minds, and he hooks up with this woman, and like that cut just from them in the bar to like him just railing her in the bathroom, I was like, holy shit.
But that's
like that was a little rough. But
I don't know if you know this, they took that straight from Ash vs. Evil Dead, like that whole scene, the cut from the bar to that, like especially it was like, that's what reminded me. I'm like, that should be Bruce Campbell, damn it. But I mean, that doesn't make it a bad thing. But
no, so immediately after that, he grabs the woman's vibrator and like starts singing along to that song, and that's where it got me, because I'm watching her throughout it, and then there's that awesome action sequence, and I was like, okay, like now I'm hooked.
Which was super serious and creepy. Like she starts like screeching and shit. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And like stabs him. I'm like, that's what I said. It like teeters between, oh, this shit's hilarious, to like, wow, he just got like stabbed in the neck. What the hell is going on?
Yeah. I do think this shows that James Gunn is better with movies, though, because there are times where it seems like things that in a movie would be cut just based on the fact you only have so long are stretched out a little bit. Yeah. And that's where I think people are getting the forced joke feeling, is like he has to have a joke every so often to like keep the
pace or something.
But dude, Vigilante is phenomenal. Like,
Vigilante's great, yeah.
When he pulls the mask off and he's just sitting there making all the facial expressions, I almost fell out of my chair laughing.
He can't see who I am. I love the part. And another like the funniest part was when he grabs the sniper rifle and just starts murdering the family. But then also, like, we have a murdered family in a living room that you have to like walk past, which is really messed up.
Yeah. I really love the 3 episodes.
Yeah, I think I'm excited for the next one. I think, and James Gunn said he's got another project that's not Peacemaker. Just let this guy do whatever he wants for DC. I mean, he's made the best DC stuff for the last couple of years now. So
hands down,
yeah,
hands down.
Yeah, I mean as much as people can him and ha, this is easily better than any CW show I've watched. Maybe like the first couple seasons of Flash, yeah, they were great, but like even like the Judo Master, that shit was hilarious. The Judo Master, when he's like, "Oh, you're a very big man, big muscle." He's like sitting there all tied up, and then
he's sitting there. He's sitting there eating the flaming hot Cheetos.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, you want some?" He's like, "You want some?" No. Oh man,
So Gunn has 2 projects left to do with Marvel. He's currently working on Guardians 3.
Yeah,
and then I Am Groot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's done, and that's when he'll jump back over to DC. So I'll be interested to see where he goes.
Yeah, I would love. I doubt it'll happen, but I would love for like King Shark to show up at the end of the season or something. Peacemaker.
Yeah, I wonder. Like, is this going to be one and done, or is this going to lead into Suicide Squad 2?
Mm-hmm.
Or is this going to lead into like he wants to do something else? Like, I don't know. I don't even know what property he would jump into after this.
Right.
But I'm really interested to see where he goes.
People said Harley Quinn. I think Margot Robbie deserves her own TV show. Like this,
I mean, she's going to be... She has her own thing going on. Like, she'll get Birds of Prey.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm not a huge... As I believe you still aren't a huge Harley Quinn fan. So I don't know how much you could really get me into a Harley Quinn TV show.
People will watch it, though.
Oh, they will, yeah. Like, if anyone DC's got brains, they'll do it, because that's the money. It's like, make a Harley Quinn show and make a Batman show, and they're already making a Batman show, so...
There you go.
Yeah. I get it, but I don't know if she needs a TV show, personally.
Yeah, so I like it. If you like Suicide Squad, you like it. It's definitely more... It's definitely more over the top, like, than Suicide Squad was. Like you said, was not expecting the sex scene, and I mean, there's an abundance of gore and swearing, and the fact that he was like stealing all her shit when he was like in a knapsack while he's like trying to leave was pretty funny. Like, oh, I want that and I want this. Like, you just stealing all this shit.
Even though it was a little weird at first, I really grew to love that the first scene where he's talking to the janitor.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, we smoked weed together.
Yeah.
And then the janitor's like, aren't you the superhero who like only kills black people? He's like, no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He's like, well, it's not my fault. They just happen to be. He's like, you know what? I will now start shooting more white people.
That line killed me.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, it's a really great show.
Overall, I think John Cena it seems like he's having fun with it. I'm still convinced he's a gorilla in a human suit. We'll hopefully find out by the end of the season. But yeah, I think it's. I like the scene where he wears the helmet and the outfit into like the Applebee's. So, like he's
Did
like,
you watch? Yeah. Did you watch the after credits scene for? I forget which episode. Might have been the third one.
I watched them all. Yeah.
Well, okay. The one that stuck with me was his dad when they're like going through the different helmets, and his dad's telling them all the different like things.
Oh yeah,
do.
yeah.
And then his dad's like, "This one gives you like what was it, scabies or something?"
Yeah, so it gives you scabies. Yeah, I was like, "What the hell?" And that cop, the normal cops, the male lead actors, he's the dude from I can't remember the actor's name, but he's from Scream. He's like the original Scream actor.
Oh yeah. So the dude from Boba Fett who tries to get Boba Fett to take the gangs out. That's the guy from Office Space who had a stapler stolen.
I forgot to say that. Yeah, that's the stapler guy. When that scene happened, I'm like, is that the stapler guy from Office Space? Holy shit, what a character actor.
Yeah. I knew it immediately, but then like literally hours later, just the memes started happening. I was like, thank the internet.
Thank you did not fail me. Okay, movie news. I don't see it listed here, but I'm guessing you saw it. They released the Batgirl costume actress and all suited up.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, that got caught up with another thing for Batwoman that I was just kind of like, I don't want to talk about.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you saw the Batwoman news.
No, I didn't see any of that. But the Batgirl costume, people are complaining because it looks like a CW budget costume. I will say it is her best costume. Is the purple, like from the run? Oh man, I cannot. The Babs, was it Babs Tar? Was it that run? I thought her costume and her colors, like the purple, yellow, vibrant colors, were awesome. And people, if you could just like shut up and wait to see a trailer or something, maybe she created this costume herself. I mean, and she's going to get like a more badass costume as she goes along. Who knows?
It also didn't look like it was like a post, a post image. Like it seemed like something that was just taken.
Yeah, it's like a test image.
I've seen these on before where it's like, here's the suit. And it's like, that looks dumb. And then I see the trailer. I'm like, oh, it looks pretty good in motion.
And
like,
didn't everybody say that about like Shazam and stuff like that? I don't know.
Shazam, Flash. I mean, basically any DC character they probably said, except for Batman, because anybody that talked bad about that Batman suit was going to get punched in the face.
Yeah, right. Punch right in the cowl. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, and it happened with Marvel in the beginning days too. Like everybody complains about it. I was just kind of sitting there going like, okay, it looks like a suit. I'll wait till I see a trailer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm gonna watch it. Yeah. So, Marvel has done some castings for the upcoming Werewolf by Night Halloween special. Laura Donnelly and Gail Garcia Bernal have been added to the special. I forgot this is happening.
So did I until 2 days ago when this was announced.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't even think about to talk about it in the news, but this is like, how big is this going to be? I mean, it's going straight to Disney Plus, right?
Yeah, but so was that I Am Groot like holiday special.
Yeah.
Like so is other stuff. So it's probably going to be like a 45-minute thing, and it'll probably set up stuff for like future Marvel stuff. Because remember in Loki, like they talked about vampires. They're doing a Blade movie, so why wouldn't you like I can see parts of it going in, but yeah, it's an easy way to introduce Werewolf by Night, who's kind of a character that honestly even Marvel fans don't really care a whole lot about. I know there's fans out there, but I'm giving broad strokes here. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I every time I say that when I'm like, nobody cares, somebody's like, oh, I care. It's like, okay, cool. I care about some things that nobody cares about too. Like broad strokes, people.
there's werewolf people out there for sure. Did you finished Eternals? You watched it?
So I watched Eternals this week.
So I think I'm about 30 or 40 minutes into it. What's up with that aspect ratio? You know what I'm talking about? I mean, you must have seen it.
Oh, it's like enhanced by IMAX or some stupid shit.
Is that what causes that awful like in between scenes? You're at like you go from like widescreen to full screen to widescreen again because I can't stop noticing it.
Yeah, because it wasn't quite as bad as the Snyder Cut, but I was getting like Snyder Cut vibes from it. So remember in the Snyder Cut when we went to like 4x4? I'm like, why? Yeah. What's going on?
Yeah, it's like you're watching a Flash video or something like that.
Yeah. It wasn't quite that bad, but it was close.
Yeah. But just from how the scenes were cut too, you could tell they did a lot of reshoots. I feel like for this movie.
So
yeah, what's your overall opinion about this movie? Because I haven't finished it yet. It's a slow burn for me, for sure.
It's a bottom tier Marvel movie. So I know there was a lot of politics behind this movie when the reviews came out. People were getting mad about. I'm gonna throw all that aside because none of that is my problem with the movie. My problem with the movie is that you took some really cool characters and made them fucking boring.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
Dude, Icarus is annoying the whole time.
Yep.
He has a twist at the end of the movie that makes no sense.
Uh-huh.
The coolest part of the whole movie was actually the last scene when there was like a huge fight scene. The Celestials coming.
Uh-huh.
Do you care if I spoil the movie for you?
I do not care at all. Honestly.
Okay, so at the end of the movie, like there's the turn where Icarus is one of the bad guys, which is just dumb. And they find out that what the Celestials are doing is they're planting seeds in the different planets, and once the population gets to a certain point, they can suck all the life energy out of everybody to birth a new Celestial.
Okay.
So at the end, they decide they're going to stop it from happening, and Icarus goes against them. So the whole fight scene where like Icarus is fighting all the other Celestials or all the other Eternals, and this like Celestial's being born. That's the coolest scene of the whole movie because I don't want to shit on DC too much, but like they did that sequence better than DC has done any of their sequences. Like they did a Flash fight, like because one of the characters is a speedster.
Yeah,
better than any of the Flash stuff I've seen. Anything DC, and yeah, but they're too bogged down on love sequences. I don't care if they're straight, gay, whatever. There's just too many of them.
Yeah,
and I don't care.
Yeah,
like
I think it's the first hour into the movie. There's a sex scene, and I was sitting there like, didn't kids go see this movie? Like, why are these two characters having sex, and I don't care about either of them.
They tease Black Knight 3 times in the movie, and don't give me Black Knight.
Wow.
And just all in all, it's just slow. Like, it's just slow.
Yeah.
Although there's a couple moments that I want to point out. Like that last fight sequence is really cool. You'll enjoy that. The very end of the movie, they basically do a Galactus scene where Celestial comes into the sky and like changes the whole like puts a bunch of clouds over them and then just moves them out of the way and you see a Celestial. And I'm like, that's how they're gonna do Galactus.
Right.
and then there's one that just made me laugh. And I forget the guy's name now, but the overweight black gentleman in the group. You know who I'm talking about. He's the one that like creates technology and shit.
Yeah, he's the technology guy.
So he no longer wants to help humanity because humanity's fucked. And how he comes to this conclusion is they do this actually kind of neat sequence where he's standing in Hiroshima after the bomb dropped, and he's just like, I did this. I created technology.
Yeah.
And then flash forward to the future, he's in Chicago. That's an important part of this. With his husband and kid, and they're talking to him like, we need your help. And he's like, well, I just started regaining my trust in humanity, blah, blah, blah. And I don't use my powers anymore. And that's where the whole sequence you've seen on trailers where Icarus like punches the table. Like, it must be vibranium.
Yeah.
Right before that, Icarus is like basically tells him he's full of shit and shoots his lasers at the window. And you find out that he built the whole house with like his powers so that nobody could destroy the house or attack it. And I'm just sitting there going like, why would you give that to everybody in Chicago?
Yeah, why would you not just give that to everybody? Yeah. What the hell?
Like, that's just like a dick thing to do, especially in Chicago of all places.
Yeah, there's like stray bullets everywhere. What the hell?
But it's a movie with good moments that's is trying to be more full of itself than it is, and just has way too many love sequences. Like, just I don't care.
Yeah, too much.
I want to see them punch people.
It's not called Eternal Love. It's called Eternals.
Like, listen, the Cap and Peggy moment in Endgame.
Yeah, that's what you need.
So let me say this, because I've said this about DC a lot, so I'm going to throw it back to Marvel. That moment is earned over, 8 movies?
Right. Yeah.
That's why I love that sequence so much, is that this whole thing was built up over all this time, and then finally, like, Cap got his moment, and he got to fall in love and be with the woman he loved, blah, blah, blah. Not, hey, this dude you met 5 minutes ago, now he's fucking some random chick in a park, and they're in love. I'm like, this, I don't care.
Yep. Do not care.
So
like, I don't know, for me so far it's like a 5 out of 10.
It's not the worst Marvel movie ever, but it's nowhere near the best. And anybody that thinks it is just out of their goddamn mind. I don't get it.
Yeah. Because I know if DC did anything like this, which they have, made a movie this bad, people would shit all over it. So yeah, overall, it's okay. I will say this though.
I was gonna say that's honestly what I was thinking the whole time. Like, if this was a DC movie, everybody would hate it.
Oh yeah, I'm super critical about that stuff now because of how much people love to shit on DC. Yeah. And those are the things I think. I'm like, if this was a DC movie, people would shit on that. Just a quick aside. Katie's been catching up. She finally caught up on all the Marvel movies we watched over the last week. I watched Infinity War and Endgame again. Mm-hmm. Those are like I haven't watched those since they came out to the theaters. Especially Endgame because it's so heavy. Dude, I was still getting chills from those moments of like where it starts off where Captain America's like, "Let's go get that son of a bitch," and it's like, bum, 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 bum. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. And I know people are like all into the hype of Spider-Man, and rightfully so. It's an amazing movie. Yeah. Endgame's still better. I love that fucking movie.
The shield with the Thor hammer, dude. Like nothing will ever top that moment.
Yeah. That's a movie of earned moments, man. That's the example of everything I've talked about.
The only thing she was pissed about, and rightfully so, was the Pepper scene where she shows up with the Iron Woman suit. Like, and talk about earned moments, because we both felt that she did not earn that moment at all. Yeah, I just don't like her character, and I don't like she's Gwyneth Paltrow's crazy now, so that's a story for another time. Well, she's
crazy now?
Yeah, she's been crazy. All right, comic news. Got a little bit here. Marvel has announced that they're giving issue 24 of Thor, which is a legacy number 750, be an oversized issue that will include a major death and some extra stories from different creators, including Walt Simonson, Dan Jurgens, J. Michael Straczynski, and Al Ewing. Oh, by the way, it's part of Marvel year's anniversary. It has 60th anniversary of Thor and Marvel. Okay, so it's number 24, number 750, and 60th anniversary. How many numbers can we fit on one issue, Marvel? Let's count. Holy shit. And it's going to say 80, giant size, 80 page. Oh my god.
That's how Marvel always wins the sales battle.
Yep. And they'll charge you $25 for this issue.
It'll probably be $10, and I'll buy it. That aside, Walter Simonson coming back, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's pretty crazy.
I love Dan Jurgens, so I'm down with that. I am one of the people who's not a big Straczynski guy, so I don't care that much about that.
I'm kind of a fan. I mean, okay, so we're going back to like his Image stuff with Rising Stars. Now that shit is awesome. Everything I've read other than that.
I even tried that stuff he did with, was it AWA? Mm-hmm. And it was rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was just like, hey, let's do mutants, but they don't have costumes. I'm like, so why am I here?
So what's the point?
But yeah, and Al Ewing, I've heard that his Loki run was really great, and he's going to do a Loki story for this. So cool. I'm down for all of this. Thor's been amazing. Let's do it.
Amazing Spider-Man is getting a new number 1 in April that will follow the events of the recent Beyond arc currently going on in Amazing Spider-Man. This new series is said to celebrate Spidey's 60th anniversary and will act as the greatest hits of his history. The new Amazing Spider-Man series will be written by Zeb Wells, art by John Romita Jr. I'm out. Sorry, Jay.
Are you a Junior hater?
I don't hate him. I feel like his art it is very specific for books. I don't like him on Superman.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Yeah. It's Kick-Ass for me, dude. Like, Kick-Ass, I don't know. Maybe, it probably works better for Spider-Man. I don't know.
I'll say this. I agree with you on some of the Superman stuff. But that Superman book he did with Frank Miller for Black Label, was it year 1?
Yeah.
Whoever was doing the coloring and the inking for that improved every problem I had with JR doing Superman.
I agree. So maybe if it's not as typical run of the mill stuff, I'll probably enjoy it on Spider-Man.
But I'll say two things. One, if JR's style is anything, it's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But two, good for Zeb Wells. Like, he's just kind of he's a company man who's been doing his thing, and like this could be the big thing that like really sets him off. So
there you go, Spider-Man #1, dude. Take off.
Yeah.
DC has announced that not only are they returning to Flashpoint, but the creator and longtime DC writer Jeff Johns is returning as well. So we'll get an issue every 6 months. The new series will be called Flashpoint Beyond, written by Jeff Johns and Eduardo Risso.
Gary Frank's not doing the art, so we'll get one every like 3 months.
Yeah, that's true. I did see the page of it, though. Risso's art's pretty awesome. Flashpoint Beyond will follow Thomas Wayne as he wakes up in a world, even though he knows it shouldn't exist. In his world, even so, his Flashpoint world is back. Sure. I mean, it seems to be like I don't think we're at the point right now where we need to go back to Flashpoint. Now, if we were going to do a Flashpoint story about, like, if you're just going to give me a Thomas Wayne book, like Day in the Life of Thomas Wayne, and Jeff Johns was writing it, I would be pumped for that. I don't know why we need to go back and then tell everybody how we got back here, like why Flashpoint is back, you know, or why his world is back. I think it's just going to confuse a lot of people like me.
I think if Jeff Johns coming back to DC comes with a lot of baggage to this point for me, because he's done some really bad books recently.
Yeah, and apparently he's an asshole.
And Geiger was just phenomenal.
Right.
So, one of the things that would get me to come back to Jeff Johns at DC would be Flashpoint.
Yeah, true.
Also, I'm behind on Justice Incarnate, so maybe this has been solved. I don't know. But Thomas Wayne is in the DC continuity, and he doesn't really understand why. So I get going back and saying, like, this is why he's still around. Mm-hmm. I think it fits to what their plans are currently.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, they do. Now that you talk about it, they do mention it in Justice League Incarnate.
So I'm down for this. 100%. I love Flashpoint, and that was actually my introduction to DC was Flashpoint. So
yeah, true. Flashpoint's amazing. I don't know.
Yeah, DC is a universe, I should say. I knew characters before them, but
I'm just gonna keep your expectations very low with these things, and you won't be disappointed. So I did read Justice League versus. We're going to talk about what we read this week. Justice League versus Legion of Superheroes. It's just kind of confusing to me because, like, I think Justice League Incarnate is where our Justice League is right now. I think, or no?
What? I don't understand what you just said.
Like, Justice League Incarnate is not in continuity, or isn't in continuity.
It's in continuity, as far as I know.
But then the Justice League book by Bendis is
also in continuity.
In continuity. So this Justice League versus the Legion of Superheroes takes place in the past. Takes place back during his run. Or at least that's the way he set it up.
During Bendis' run, yeah.
Yeah, during Bendis' run. Okay.
Which is currently going on.
Right. But the Justice League is an Incarnate, so I'm like, how are they fighting the Legion if they're like on other worlds doing this other shit?
Oh, so I didn't read the most recent Justice League Incarnate. So you saying that the current Justice League isn't Justice League Incarnate?
No, the current Justice League is back when he did his. It's just that he just shows his Justice League with Naomi.
Yeah,
that whole thing. But they're like they just beat the Legion of Doom, and they're like the Legion of Superheroes show up. But there's no Legion of Superheroes in this issue of Incarnate. So maybe, I don't know, maybe they're going to show up. I just got a little confused about like what Earth we're on and where everybody is.
Okay, so I'm confused on how you got to this point.
Yeah.
Justice League Incarnate was the Justice League that was created after Infinite Frontier that's supposed to police the multiverse. So don't even think of them as a Justice League.
Yeah.
But then this Justice League is Bendis' Justice League that's on Earth.
Okay, no, okay. I just thought, okay, Justice League Incarnate was going to somehow tie into the main book, but either way,
I don't think so. Yeah.
Either way, Justice League Incarnate's amazing because I caught up on the issue. This is issue 3. Did you read this one yet?
No, as I said earlier.
Okay. A lot of stuff happens because we have like 3 separate groups. Seeing Earth 31, which is like the swashbuckling Earth, was pretty amazing. Also, so this is kind of crazy. What they realize is all the separate Earths that they're on, they find the other heroes appearing in comic books. So President Superman is trapped with Dr. Multiverse on one of the Earths. They're on Earth 33. What they realize is they need to make a comic book with them in it, so then the heroes can come find them and pull them out of that universe. So they literally stay in the universe for over a month and work on making a comic book. So they're there for like 84 days because it keeps track of how many days. And then they have this editor who comes in and like wants them to, it's super meta. He wants them to make changes to the book to have this giant fight where Darkseid wins. Well, the editor is actually Darkseid himself. So it's pretty crazy, but they get pulled out. There's a lot of cool interactions with different heroes on different worlds. The best one is Thomas Wayne Batman gets stuck on the Toon Squad world, or the Zoo Crew. He's with the Zoo Crew, so you could probably see it here, but that's like the type of art.
That's phenomenal.
It's like cartoon art with Thomas Wayne, so that's worth the price of entry itself, right there. Then there's this big fight at the end because Darkseid reveals himself. He fights everybody, and guess what? He wins because that's kind of the meta thing that happens. But what they're talking about is there's a great darkness coming. Earth 7 is the Oblivion Machine, they call it. So one of the Earths that the like Aquawoman and Dino Cop are stuck on is Earth 7, and it says that Earth is the Oblivion Machine. So I guess we'll see what that means. There's some great darkness coming. It's going to swallow the Earth. The series has been awesome. You're going to have a lot of fun reading this issue.
Fucking Dino Cop. You mean Savage Dragon?
Yeah, Savage Dragon. Jesus Christ. One Star Squadron #2, this Mark Russell book. Mark Russell actually makes an appearance in this.
Yes, he does.
Pretty awesome. A little meta again. This issue revolves around Minuteman. It's pretty depressing. Minuteman has to go buy his Miraclo drugs on the street, which ends up he tries to use the pill for a children's birthday party, and he gets the shit beat out of him because his pill wears off in under an hour. I love
under a
that,
minute.
In under a minute. Sorry.
Yeah.
I love that. Mark Russell's he's just embracing shitty villains in this series. Like, you're a shitty heroes now too. So like, you're a really shitty hero. Go to a birthday party.
He took a direct jab at New York Comic Con too in this.
Oh, he did, huh?
So the whole sequence. So the whole sequence where they take, it's a little insider. So I don't know. You may not have heard the story before, but
no, I didn't. Uh-huh.
When they're doing the con, so Minuteman has to go to a con and he's going to sign things, and he's hungry and he sees Mark Russell next to him, and he's like, "Where'd you get the food?" And Mark tells him it's in the VIP room.
Yeah,
and that's when Minuteman goes to the VIP room and like tries to get a bunch of food. So that's a shot at New York Comic Con, because what happens in New York Comic Con is they get the comic guests and the people to sign and everything.
Yeah,
and they give them a room where they can go, like a green room.
Yeah.
But then they'll have the VIP room that's for like the movie people, or not even the movie people, like the TV people and everything, and give them like the good stuff.
Oh, okay.
And it's been a criticism from the comics people because they're like, those fucking movie people are making millions off of my idea.
Right.
And
exactly.
They get the good room and I get the shit room.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, so that's a whole shot at that. That's why I love that sequence, because I'm like, I've heard this story before.
This book is so much fun. It's awesome. And I was chatting with someone on the comic book subreddit about it, and was like, their question was, is this book like the other stuff that I've really been enjoying? And he mentioned like Wrong Earth and like all the fun shit that's going on over at Ahoy Comics, like that style, like satirical humor. And I go, One Star Squadron is that same exact tone.
Yeah,
I would say, and it's but just with a DC label and DC heroes. It's amazing.
And it reminds me to give a Marvel version. There was what the hell was it called?
Oh, the Spider-Man book.
Superior Foes of Spider-Man. Yeah, it reminds me of that too.
That book's amazing.
Yeah, it is. I think it's Steve Lieber art, which is probably why it reminds me of it. But
and it has a Rochester reference in it.
Yeah.
Okay, Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 6. Superman gets involved with these this trafficking of people on these boats, and he sees all these people in the shipping containers. He stops them, but in doing so, he gets in a fight with a supervillain that's been hired by oh man, I can't remember this guy's name, the one that runs the island, but he's Superman / Superboy is going to be going to the island to confront the main villain and the henchmen, but it looks like he has a bunch of tubes of metahumans. So he's been creating his own metahumans. So he's going to have like a whole army of souped up people that Superman's going to have to battle, which I think is awesome. Are you reading that book or no?
No, I don't like John.
Me either, but I like Tom Taylor. Shang-Chi, number 7. This kind of gets away from the whole Shang-Chi versus the Marvel Universe. And he goes and talks to his mom, and they kind of get away from the whole creepy like locust thing where she was making like clicking noises and shit. And she basically says like, I'm better now. Here's my backstory. Here's your father's backstory. Oh, by the way, your family hates you now. So they like jump him in his house with his mom. And so there's a big fight scene, and the mom's like, oh, I'm better now. I can kick some ass. And while they're fighting, they said there's something, somebody's coming in from the skies, and it happens to be his grandfather, who was a chieftain that from the other world that his mother comes from. So if you remember from the movie, his mom comes from that other world. So the grandfather shows up, and he's like all like, battle scarred and with a giant sword and shit. So he's coming to help them. So it seems like there's like a divide between the family side where the father and the mother side, like the ancient fantasy realm where they're protecting Earth. And then the father side where he was like a kingpin mob boss that was trying to turn a new leaf. So I love this shot. I think it's really good. This was the book, Suicide Squad number 11. I know you're not reading Suicide Squad, but this was I was gonna send you a screenshot and text you yesterday. I just forgot. This would be the issue that I would say you need to read the Suicide Squad. I don't know if you saw the cover, but the cover is the Retaliators. Oh, you can't see me. I don't know if you can see this, but the cover is amazing. So it's the Earth 8's mightiest heroes, Retaliators ready. So it's it's the Avengers basically.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of conversations between Peacemaker and Bloodshot, because Bloodshot knows that Waller's using people. Peacemaker's like, you have a chance to we're trying to destroy her from within. So they have a couple of people planted on the current Suicide Squad to like overthrow Waller. Meanwhile, she plants them on Earth 8. She plants the Suicide Squad on Earth 8 and in this giant like safe. She's like, you need to go to this Earth, and you'll know why once you get there. And there's all this gold, and they're like, oh, she sent us here to steal gold. They're like, no. They're like, she sent us here to commit a crime, because then the Retaliators show up. And each Retaliator has their own description and stuff. So meanwhile, this is happening. I keep saying Bloodsport and Peacemaker are fighting each other, trying to like, why are you still working with Waller even though she's like a bad person? Well, come to find out, she has captured every version of Bloodsport's brother on all the multiverses, because like his brother is dead in his universe, so she knows like he could go to another universe and get his brother back, but so she's captured all of them in every universe.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up. Meanwhile, Rick Flag is like hiding underwater, like at the Waller base. So by the end of the issue, they pop out and they're like, "Okay, we're finally going to attack her when she's vulnerable because the Suicide Squad's not there." So, Major Force starts going crazy and starts killing like all the retaliators. He starts like burning, like, because he's like pretty much a radioactive person. Starts killing all of them. So then another group shows up. So it's not the Retaliators, Chris. They're called the Lightning Strikes, and I don't know if you've heard of the Thunderbolts, but you have Ambush Bug commenting throughout this whole issue, and he says, "Oh, I see what you did here." So now you have the Lightning Strikes, which has their version of the Red Hulk. His name's Dead Red. You have Punisher's named Thrill Kill. You have Blood Pouch instead of
Deadpool. Those Thunderbolts.
Yeah, yeah. So it's an awesome page with these heroes, and then the Ambush Bug's like, you need to assemble and avenge me. So it's really on the nose. It's an awesome issue because you get to see two different Marvel like parodies of heroes. It was awesome. It was such a fun read.
What's funny about that is, and I'm sure someone will disagree with me, but that's inarguably, in my opinion, the worst version of the Thunderbolts.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I just think they needed identifiable characters to be like, oh yeah, that's definitely a parody of someone.
That was a point where they were like, we have an IP, so let's do something with it. And then they're like, okay, instead of it being, because I don't know, have you ever read like the original Thunderbolts run?
No, I've never read any of that stuff.
Highly recommend it. It's up your alley too.
Okay.
And the whole idea of that was like they were these supervillains pretending to be superheroes, and then the twist is it was actually supervillains the whole time.
Yeah.
And then they decided to rebrand it with, instead of it being supervillains, let's make it like anti-heroes. So that's why it's Punisher and Red Hulk and Deadpool and Elektra and
yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
And they never did it again because it failed.
Justice League versus the Legion of Superheroes. Did you read this?
I did.
I mean, we're finally getting the Gold Lantern story, is what this tells me. So yes. Thank you, Bendis, for that. Also, there's some weird force pulling the heroes in and out of time, I would say. Is her name Duplicate? Is that it, or is Triplicate? Is Duplicate from
I think Triplicate? Triplicate Girl.
Triplicate Girl is from Invincible.
Isn't that Invincible? Yeah.
Yeah, I always get them mixed up.
Yeah, it's Triplicate Girl.
She gets pulled into the past, but then she's older, and then Wonder Woman feels the pull as well. And then at the end, like when there's the Legion and the Justice League together, they all get pulled at once somewhere, and then it's just the Gold Lanterns left. So, and then they in the start of the book, I mean, they focus on Gold Lantern, but they talk about him starting his own corps, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Things I liked that we're getting Gold Lantern, and that's all this. I just want to know about the Gold Lantern. That's all I want to know.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the Triplicate Girl. One of her was pulled in, which was a cool little concept that like the other two were kind of like freaking out, and then they find out
what
that
do we do?
And then when they go back to the past where she shows up, she's super old, and they're still like teenagers or 20s or whatever they're supposed to be. Dude, Bendis went full Bendis on this book.
Oh my god, yeah.
There's entire 2-page spreads where I'm just like watching the balloons go, and I'm just like,
where do I read?
You never let him go full Bendis. What are you doing?
I know. I'm trying to read them, and I'm like, dear God, this is a lot going on here.
I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed, once again, as we've talked about, I enjoyed the Legion stuff way more than I enjoyed the Justice League stuff. But
Yep, me too.
It's still pretty good.
Dark Ages number 4.
Yeah.
This book is awesome. Pirates. Yeah, pretty much that's this issue. Yeah, I love oh my god, the X-Men that can teleport.
Nightcrawler.
I love that he's like the pirate captain. I love when they get attacked by these like squad of the Ghost Raiders, they're called, not the Ghost Riders. That was pretty awesome. And then, friggin' Nick Fury takes an anchor like right through the chest, like a barbed spear. That was pretty metal. This book is so much fun. Tom Taylor, and then Tom Taylor's like, you know what? We'll just bring in Ant-Man writing Fing Fang Foom to come in and just save you. And I mean, that's what I wanted. This is what I want out of this book, like crazy shit happening. What did you think? Are you liking this?
I loved everything about it. You didn't even bring up like the whole Black Panther and Wakanda, or actually not even really Wakanda. It was just kind of Africa in general being a sanctuary for people.
Yep.
How they got the trade routes, like the fact that the ship is actually a helicarrier that they converted into a steam engine.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah.
And that's basically what the X-Men became for the most part, was like these, not really pirates, but just like kind of the Navy. Because like Colossus is like pulling up the anchor, which is this huge anchor, and Storm is like pushing the boat with wind. I love this book. It's awesome.
Yeah. Tom Taylor's going crazy over there, doing great stuff.
Yeah, he knows how to write a comic.
No One Left to Fight, number 2, number 4. Part 2, number 4. This I can finally see where this book is going. At the end of this volume, I feel like it's going to wrap up at the end of volume 2. We know that the main character, the Goku quote unquote of the story, has like this disease. If he transforms into Super Saiyan or uses his powers one more time, he will die. They get confronted with a villain, so he has to like fuse with his teammate, like the Vegeta of the world. So they fuse together, they kill him off, and then he said, "I fused with you, and I saw what your mind was. Like the whole reason for this whole trip, it wasn't to cure you. You wanted to have one last fight." And he says, like at the end, like there's no one left to fight. So they have this giant crater, and basically, like the Goku and Vegeta of the universe are going to fight each other. And it's going to be one epic-sized last issue is what they're teasing, and it's going to be like them fighting, and then that's it. Like it's going to wrap up because if he uses his powers one more time, he will die. So he's just going to like use it to go all out and have one last fight against this guy.
I need to catch up on that book.
Yeah, I hope that's what I hope they don't like, chicken out and like bring him back or something. I want it to be like that. And then I started reading the Nightmare Blog book. On Comixology because it's by the guy who did Philadelphia. First issue is really it's really creepy. Basically, this woman writes a nightmare blog, and these people end up dying, and it's kind of related somehow. Like it's called Nita Hawes' Nightmare Blog. It's really creepy because she can see her dead son. There's this really like creepy moment where she's like, "I have to go home because it's my son's birthday." So she's like sitting there eating cake with her son. And as he's talking to her, like blood starts coming down his head, and you find out that like he was killed in a drive-by when he was younger. Really messed up stuff. Yeah, really great book so far. I mean, I've only read one issue, but I think it's I bought all 3, so definitely gonna check them all out. And I think that's all I had this week.
So including the stuff that we talked about earlier. I had 2 Devil's Reign tie-ins. One was Daredevil Woman Without Fear.
Oh.
Which followed Elektra as Daredevil as she finds out something from her past is pulling her back. Mm-hmm. And she goes to the college where her and Matt originally met, meets an old friend, and then the person who basically got her to come over to the Hand is there, and they have an interaction. And they find out that basically this person was hired by Wilson Fisk to get Elektra out of the picture so that she was taken care of. And that's not the only person that was hired. He also hired Kraven the Hunter. So that's how the first issue ends.
Nice.
Good Daredevil stuff, Elektra. So I enjoyed it. One that you might actually enjoy, even though I don't think you care about any of the characters involved, was Devil's Reign Superior 4, number 1.
Okay.
This revolved around Otto Octavius.
Oh.
And what Otto has done... So at this point, all you need to know is that in the first issue of Devil's Reign, they took over the Baxter building as property of New York because it's illegal to be a superhero. So all the Fantastic Four have been arrested and they're gone. Yep. So Otto has taken over the Baxter Building science labs, and he's used it to go to these different dimensions to find the most superior versions of Otto Octavius. Him being the best version,
right? Of course.
So there's one where it's Otto as Wolverine, but instead of having the claws come out of his back, so he still has the 8 arms. And one was him as Ghost Rider, and the chains come out of his back, so he can still have the 8 arms.
Oh my god!
And then the third was Otto as the Hulk, but not only did it turn big and green, but it made arms come out of his back. I don't know if you're catching a theme here.
Yeah.
And so Otto Prime decides that they're going to go across the multiverse and find all the best versions of Otto Octavius to make a team so they can take over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And they go to this one, and they get kind of like kicked out of it. And then they go to this other one where Otto becomes Spider-Man and is actually like a good guy. And they have a tangle there. And then it ends, they go back to 616 where he's just like, we're going to keep doing this. So it seems like it's just Otto and his Otto buddies jumping across the multiverse. It's a lot of fun. Awesome. I enjoyed it. And I don't really care about Dr. Octopus.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check it out.
We talk about Lee. We talk about One Star. We talk about Dark Ages. Okay, I read The All-Nighters 3 and 4. That's a really good book.
Me too.
I think you've talked about it.
Yep.
And then Savage Avengers 28 was this week as well, which is the last issue of Savage Avengers, sadly. It wraps up the whole conflict of Conan and being in the future and having to deal with Colin Gath.
Mm-hmm.
And it does it with, time bullshit where he goes back in the past and fixes the guy, and he thinks that he's gonna be stuck in the past the whole time. I can't believe I'm zoning on who the fuck was with him, because he's gonna be everywhere in the MCU soon. Kang, he's with Kang. So Kang's helping him out the whole time, and Kang's the one that brings him back to the past to be fix him as a kid. Where Kang's plan was the kill Hitler as a baby plan. Just kill him as a kid, we don't have to deal with him. But Conan, being a good guy, was like, no, I'll fix him. And turns him into a warrior, and that solves the whole problem. And then Kang goes, I'm going to leave you here, fuck you. And goes back to the present, where he tells all the Avengers, Conan's done, he's gone. And what they don't know is that Kang obviously betrayed him. And Kang then goes back to his place outside of time. And he reveals that he has King Conan's crown and sword from after the King Conan run.
Yeah,
and he's had it the whole time. So he's like, at the end of the day, I still defeat you. And then something stirs in him where he goes back in time to find Conan and says, "You know what? I'll give you another chance." And then just drops him back off in present day, in the middle of Savage Land. So it ends in a way where the whole Savage Avengers thing is done, but Conan's still somewhere in the Marvel universe, and we don't really know. I thought it was a satisfying ending to a really great run. Savage Avengers, I've talked about it for 3 years now. It's just fun, dumb comic book stuff, so I'd recommend it. And then I haven't read it yet, but old guest of the show, Jeff Messer, this came in, Sex, Spies, and Rock and Roll.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to reading that as well.
Cool.
That's all I got, Mike. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter, where I gush about Ahoy Comics. Where can they find you and or the show?
They can find me at Fortress Chris on Twitter, and they can find the show at FortressComics _ on Twitter, as well as FortressComicNews.com. Remember, everybody, to like, subscribe, share, comment down below on the YouTube. Give us the 5-star reviews on whatever podcatcher you're using. And if you want to go the extra mile, patreon.com/FortressComics. Also, I can't believe I forgot to say this at the beginning, but I'm writing for comicbookyeti.com, so go there and check out my articles as well.
Oh, shit. Nice. Good for you, dude.
Thank you all so much for listening this week, and we'll see you all here next week.